I laughed at my fiance's face after I caught him cheating. My mother thinks I completely lost it. I'd been with Brandon for 6 years and we were supposed to get married in 4 months when everything went sideways. We'd built this whole life together with our townhouse and our shared friend group and even a joint checking account for wedding expenses. I worked at a marketing firm downtown and Brandon was a personal trainer at a high-end gym, and honestly we had it pretty good. My mom absolutely loved Brandon and kept calling him her future son and telling everyone how lucky I was to have found someone so committed and stable. She'd already bought her mother of the bride dress and would send me wedding planning articles every single day. Brandon was always super attentive, picking me up from work when it rained, making my protein shakes every morning, and constantly posting about how he couldn't wait to marry me. Then 3 weeks ago, I came home early from a canceled client meeting and found Brandon in our bed with Megan from my office. Not just any coworker, but the woman who sat next to me every day and had helped me pick out my wedding dress. They were so caught up, they didn't even hear me come in until I was standing in the doorway. Brandon jumped up trying to cover himself while Megan grabbed her clothes and ran to the bathroom. And that's when I started laughing. Not crying, not screaming, just genuine deep belly laughter that wouldn't stop. Brandon stood there naked and confused, asking if I was okay, and I just kept laughing harder. Megan came out of the bathroom half-dressed and asked if I was having a breakdown, and that made me laugh even more. I laughed so hard I had to sit on the floor. They both just stared at me like I'd lost my mind, and honestly the looks on their faces made it even funnier. Brandon tried to explain that it wasn't what it looked like, which sent me into another fit of laughter because seriously, what else could it be? He then switched to saying it was a mistake and just happened, which was hilarious because Megan's overnight bag was clearly visible in the corner. After about 10 minutes of me just laughing, they both got dressed and left together, probably thinking I'd completely snapped. My mom called an hour later because Brandon had contacted her saying I'd had some kind of mental break and needed help. She rushed over and found me calmly packing Brandon's stuff into boxes while eating takeout. When I explained what happened, she was horrified that I wasn't devastated and kept asking if I was in shock. I told her I was perfectly fine and she accused me of being in denial. The next day at work was even better. Megan had called in sick, but everyone knew because Brandon had tried to do damage control by telling people I'd gone crazy when I caught them. My coworkers expected me to be destroyed, but I walked in completely normal, brought donuts for everyone, and acted like nothing happened. When people asked if I was okay, I'd just smile and say I'd never been better. My boss pulled me aside concerned about my mental state, and I assured her I was perfectly functional. The real kicker was when Brandon kept texting asking when we could talk about fixing things. He actually thought we were still getting married. I responded with laughing emojis and nothing else. He showed up at my office begging to discuss our relationship and I just laughed in his face again. Security had to escort him out while I waved goodbye, still giggling. My mom staged an intervention with my sisters saying I needed therapy because I was clearly having a psychological crisis. They sat me down and said it wasn't normal to react this way to betrayal. That's when I finally explained why I'd been laughing. See, what Brandon didn't know was that I'd been having doubts for months. He was controlling about what I ate, constantly criticizing my friends, and had been pressuring me to quit my job after the wedding to support his fitness influencer dreams. I'd been stressed about how to call off the wedding without devastating my mom who'd been planning this since I was 12. Then I found out something else Brandon didn't know. Full story on channel. Link below.